Hey, what's up, guys? It's Russo and Jordy with Backdoor Fantasy Sports, and we've got a Major League Baseball picks video for you today. We're going to be talking about the MLB slate for Friday, July 19th, Flex Friday for Prize Picks. Before we get into our plays, though, if you haven't signed up for either of these platforms, Prize Picks or Underdog, for Prize Picks, just use the promo code at the bottom of the screen. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. And for Underdog, just use code BACKDOOR. They'll give you a deposit match up to $250 and a discounted play to help you get started on your first slip. There's a link in the description of the video for both of those if you want to sign up. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you are notified when these picks videos drop, because the plays do move on us pretty quick sometimes. And if you guys don't mind, do us a favor and like the video. Best way to support the channel. It just helps us get in front of a larger audience. And I don't know if you guys can see Ash back there. That's my boy. He would appreciate the like too. So hook us up, hook Ash up. And so yeah, these are the plays we're going to be covering. I'm taking Garrett Cole strikeouts at 7. I'm taking that for more on Prize Picks. And Michael Waka, I'm going to be taking his strikeouts for more on Prize Picks too at 5. We're getting these same plays on Underdog, except for Michael Waka, we're getting at 4.5, which I like even more. So as always, if you don't feel comfortable with any of these plays, just fade them. These are just what we're getting into. You don't have to take all of our plays. But yeah, those are my two I'm going to be running. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, I'm going to be going with Matt Waldron. His pitcher fantasy score, they don't have his strikeouts on Prize Picks, so I'm taking his pitcher fantasy score over 23.5. And then I'm taking David Fry under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. On Underdog, it's a little bit different. I'm taking David Fry's bases under 1.5 for 0.8x, but I still like that play a lot. And then I'm taking Matt Waldron's strikeouts for over 3.5. So just a little bit different there, but.
All right. Well, if you haven't signed up for Daily Grind yet, they make killer DFS tools. We love their DFS optimizer. They're going to give you 25% off of any of their tools for a subscription as long as you want. So your first subscription will get 25% off. You can stretch that all the way out to a year if you want. Just go to dgfantasy.com, use code BACKDOOR. There's a link in the description if you guys want to take advantage of those awesome tools. And all right, let's start breaking down the plays here. So starting with Garrett Cole, these pitcher strikeouts. I'm liking him to go over. I was looking at his fantasy score. The fantasy score is juiced to go over on Daily Grind. But I feel a little bit more comfortable with the strikeouts. Even though he just pushed this in his last game, he went for 8 the game before that. He has a good history with the head-to-head. He's averaging just 4.2 innings per game, but that's actually been bumping up a little bit lately, going for 6 in that last. And we got a little note from Outlier here. Garrett Cole has exceeded 6.5 strikeouts in 4 of his last 5 games at home. So he's got a good history of getting this done at home. We are getting it at 7, so a little bit higher chance of a push here, but I do like this to go over. Let's hop over to the optimizer. And we can see, I told you before, his fantasy score heavily juiced at 53.04% odds to hit the over. You are getting that cheaper on Prize Picks if you wanted to pivot to that instead. 38.5, you're getting it on Prize Picks. Everyone else has it at 39.9, or DraftKings has it at 40.2. But once again, I'll just show you why I like the strikeouts better. If we take a look at his fantasy score here, he did pop off for 46 in that last game, where he went for 7 strikeouts. But this is, it's like it can get a little bit tricky because the strikeouts just seem a little bit safer to me, because this other game against Boston, he went for 8 strikeouts and still the game just got out of hand. So he ended up with just 25 fantasy score. So I'm taking the strikeouts. You can go with your gut on which of those you prefer. But if we look at the strikeouts, they're still a favor to go over. 50.73% odds to hit the over on Daily Grind, minus 120. So they have a little bit above a 50-50 shot, but they do have a minus 120. And if we see all of these platforms that have it at 6.5, we got minus 157 and higher, mostly minus 160, minus 165. So a little bit higher chance. That's still like seeing it at 6.5 and so heavily juiced. I feel comfortable taking it at 7. Just a little bit higher chance of a push on that particular play. And then next we got Michael Waka. He's cleared this 3 out of his last 5 games. I know his last game, he only just went for 3 against St. Louis, but I feel good about him getting this done. He's pitching 5.1 innings per game. Let's see if Outlier has any notes for us on this. No insights on this particular play. And actually, I wanted to mention too, let me go back to Garrett for just a second. The head-to-head looks pretty solid. I know that's from last year, but he went for 8 and then he went for 11. So I know that's like a decent time difference, but I do feel comfortable with that. I just didn't cover the head-to-head before. When we look at Waka here, though, 3 out of his last 5, he's got this done. If we take a look at the head-to-head, he's gone for two out of his last 3. He's beat this 4.5 line and 5, that we're getting on Prize Picks. But yeah, he went for 7, 8, and then 4 in his previous matchups. Pitching 7 innings in those 2, so hopefully he gets a little bump in innings again here in this particular matchup. If we look at the optimizer, so yeah, this is where you gotta go with your gut here. I'm taking this over, but it is favored to go under. Daily Grind has this at 5, pretty heavily juiced because everyone else has it at 4.5. So the optimizer is noticing that the change there that Prize Picks is giving it to us a half-point bump higher. They have it heavily juiced to go under. So if you'd rather take the under, by all means, go for it. I'm just showing you what I'm getting into. But they have this at a 54.5% odds to hit the under, minus 138. So they think it's going under. So this is where you got to make your own decision. But I'm taking the over. And then if we take a look at that 4.5 line, they have it pretty heavily favored to go over that. So 53.45% odds to hit the over, minus 135. You can see everyone that has this at 4.5 has it pretty heavily juiced up at all the way up to a minus 144. So yeah, I'd rather just take the over here. And I like the strikeouts because once again, I've just been burned, in the past with the pitching fantasy score where, the guy covers his strikeouts and then because the game ends up being like a high scoring game, it just tanks the fantasy score. So this time around, I'm going just strikeouts for both of these. If you do want to check out this app Outlier, it's really great. It just, you can see how we use it. It just helps you get a little bit more statistical analysis on the plays that you're thinking about taking. So we always start with the optimizer and then jump over to Outlier. They're a great app with statistical analysis to cover matchup, injury reports, insights about the players. And they're going to just let you try this out free for 7 days. Our partnership, they're just letting all of our viewers give it a test run. So there's a link in the description if you want to try out Outlier. Just go through that link. They'll let you try it out free for 7 days. All right, that covers me. I'm going to pass it over to Jordy.
Sweet. Yeah, man. So to get into mine here, I'm going to be taking Matt Waldron's pitcher fantasy score over. I love this play. I mean, he's gone over 8 out of his last 10 games. He had a pretty rough game against Atlanta, but that was just, kind of a blowout victory there. They were all hitting pretty well, but he's gone over this a lot. 13 out of his last 20 games. I just love watching Matt Waldron pitch too. I mean, him throwing the knuckleball all the time. It's just so entertaining to watch San Diego because of him. So I love watching him pitch, so I've always kind of just want a piece of him, but honestly, he's a great pitcher too, so it works hand in hand. Yeah, he's gone over this a lot, so I feel really good about this. And when it comes to the strikeouts, I mean, this line is great. 4.5 or 3.5 is awesome. I wish we could get this on Prize Picks, but we are getting it on Underdog. That's why you want to diversify what you're playing on so you can get good lines like that on other stuff. But he's gone over this 14 out of his last 20 games, so it's pretty close between the two plays. Like Russo was saying, I just like the strikeouts a little bit more because sometimes these guys can catch up and, kind of get back what they lost with the fantasy score sometimes. So fantasy score on Prize Picks, K's on Underdog. And then David Fry. I like David Fry's under here. He's really not been hitting this at all. Sometimes he's just not even getting the plate appearances like he should. But 5 plate appearances and not a single hit, run, or RBI. He's only gone over this line 4 times out of the last 20 games, and he's only gone over it once in the head-to-head. He did have a really, really good game against Matt Waldron. In this last head-to-head, he went for 7 hits, runs, and RBIs. But we're just going to hope that Matt can kind of lock in and get us there this time, which I think will be fine. So really feeling good about the 2 plays I've got picked out here. And then same thing for Underdog, or we're taking his total bases under. Obviously he had 6 total bases in that last game. It's the same thing, but same thing here. He's gone over this 4 times, only gone over it 4 times. It's a minus 180 on Underdog, so it's a really, really high value play over there. Really liking that one. And I would put the same odds on this play, honestly, because it's pretty much the same, except you get the runs and the RBIs in there. But looking at this one on Daily Grind, it's a 51.69% chance to go under and a minus 127. Obviously anything can happen, but I feel really good about it. Matt Waldron's fantasy score is juiced to go under, just in full transparency, just barely though. So that's just, fantasy scores do that quite often. They kind of, unless it's like a super juice play, they're always gonna like kind of favorite to go under. But I do like Matt Waldron's pitcher fantasy score over. So those are the two plays that I'm gonna be going with on both platforms, and I'll pass it back to you.
All right. Well, if you guys want to come join our Discord, we have a great community over here. You can just go right through the Patreon link in the description of the video. Patreon's just managing our subscriptions for now, but we are going to start adding content there as well. Once we get deeper into our fantasy football content, which we just launched our first video. If you guys want to go check out our running back rankings for Dynasty, we're so excited for football. But yeah, if you want to come join our Discord, go through that link. And once you sign up through Patreon, just go into the settings. Once you're in the settings, there's an external app section. You just connect your Discord in there. It's really simple to do. And then it'll unlock our Discord for you. You can hop in the community chat in our Discord. Let us know you're new if you join, so we can show you around. We have 2 extra analysts in our Discord, Moose and Console. They're always killing it. We had a fun time on Taco Tuesday. And then, we had the, WNBA's off for a little bit now. So we're getting back into some MLB in the meantime. We're going to keep working on our Dynasty fantasy football content. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much for the likes and the subscriptions and stuff. It's been our first year with everybody. We really appreciate all the support. We hope you guys have a great Flex Friday, and we'll catch you in the next one.